I'm Anna-Kaisa and this is Life of DI. Today I would like to talk about my outpatient rotation. It was a 7-week rotation during which I had a chance to visit multiple clinics, including Pete's GI and dialysis, and the ALS clinic, and weight management for adults. Outpatient dietetics is quite different from inpatient dietetics. Most importantly, there's a certain number of people who come to clinic each day, and you have to see them while they're there, of course. For the GI clinic, that most often the doctor decides who you see, but definitely you will at least see all the kids with a G-tube or somehow otherwise nutrition support dependent. For Pete's dialysis, we would see pretty much every patient because it is such a complex disease if you are in dialysis or if you've had a kidney transplant already. So we would see all those patients. For ALS, we would also see pretty much everyone. Sometimes you might decide that this patient is doing pretty well with their nutrition and we might not have to see them. For weight management, it was a little bit different. These people actually make an appointment with the RD, and so of course you would see all the patients that have an appointment with you. It's also different in that you don't have to write that note, you don't have to document on that same day. You have up to a week to finish your notes. So if you have a day that you have a lot of no-shows, or the doctor just decides that you don't really have to see anyone, you still have plenty of things to do. You can finish your notes from the previous week or previous days. So in that way, you are always busy. But definitely the flow of the day was very different from the inpatient setting. One really big difference between inpatient and outpatient dietetics is that when you see the patients, counseling is in a really huge role. When inpatient, if you have to provide education, you just go in with your handouts and you tell the patient, this is what you should do. But in outpatient setting, you might have your handout and your education ready, but in addition to providing that education, you have to help the patient figure out how they will do this in their lives. How will they find the motivation to do it? Weight management was the best example of this, because these patients are really struggling to lose weight and they come to us to find out how they can do it. It's not really about the knowledge of how you do it. It's very, very simple in a way. The less calories you eat, the more weight you're going to lose. But how are you going to stop yourself from eating, especially if you are really, if you really enjoy eating to begin with, if you're not very active and it's hard for you to get yourself out there to be active and exercise. So it's the huge chunk of that appointment with these people is talking about their backgrounds and collaborating with the patient to find out what are those changes that they want to make and how are they going to be able to make those. So it's actually quite challenging because a lot of people have a lot of things going on in their lives. Maybe they have a difficult social situation, maybe they have some illness that's preventing them to exercise, for example. And so it's every day, it's different kinds of people and different challenges that you have to meet and when you try to help these patients lose weight, for example. I also, during this 7-week period, had my community rotation, and I did mine at the Nutrition Policy Institute in Berkeley. It was really fun to do something a little bit different, not be seeing patients all day long. At Nutrition Policy Institute, of course, they do a lot of research on different things. So I had a chance to go on the field and help with data collection. For example, I was helping kids fill out questionnaires. And then I also, in the office, I had a chance to do some food diary coding. So I would look at what kids eat and give each thing a code number. So this was interesting because I got a chance to see what kids eat these days. And unfortunately, it's not really great. There's a lot of all kinds of chips and candies and unhealthy things. But thankfully, I did see some vegetables and fruit in there too. And probably the funnest thing about that was to see how kids spell. One day the school had spaghetti for lunch, and I saw probably 10 different kinds of spellings for spaghetti, like spaghetti and spaghettil and stuff like that. So it was really fun to keep track of that. I also helped with some data entry on the online and on the computer to help take all that information that you gather from people in different projects and put them on the computer to start analyzing that data. So that was my outpatient and community rotation. Now I will go into my staff relief and some electives, and this will be my last 8 weeks at UCSF. I don't know where the time went, but I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do when I'm actually doing some staff relief. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.